aka the Minute Admin here, and today I'm going to be talking about why you need a daily routine, or at least one thing that you do every single day at probably the same time every single day. And here's why you need to have something set in your daily routine or in every single day that you know you're going to do. Because every day you have the beginning of your day and you have the end of your day. Now, you have the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep. I look at that kind of like your daily life, right? Like you have your every single day represents what our life looks like. So you have the moment you're born and the moment that you rest in peace, right? So you've got to have something that is the anchor in your life, which means every day you have to have something that's the anchor in your day. So why is this so important? Because most people, when they wake up, they mindlessly look at their phone, they scroll through their Instagram feed, they scroll through YouTube, they scroll through a dating app or something like that. And then they just go on and maybe wake up and get straight to work. And when they finally get out of bed, and once they get to work, they have no sort of rhythm as to what they're going to do at work. They're just being told exactly what they need to do, and they just do that task, or they may have 100 tabs open, and they may finally get that task done 5 hours later. And then whenever the day is done, they go and they, just do whatever pops up on their plate. If a friend calls them or whatever it is, and they just do what somebody else asks them to do. They have nothing set in stone. The reason why you need a daily routine is because when you know you're going to do something, when you have something set in stone, you know everything else has to revolve around that one thing. Now, this message is really meant for people who have no daily routine or something that they don't do every single day. But we can take this up to the next level, and I can talk about that later. But basically, here's what you're going to need to do. Find something that you know you can do at a very small scale. So for me, what I did, I actually jumped right into 75 Hard last year in 2021. And my daily routine was built around 75 Hard. And I can talk about that whole entire program on another day. But basically what I've done recently is I've started playing the guitar every single day for 10 minutes. And my entire day is built around either the guitar. Well, it's definitely built around the guitar, reading my Bible, or reading some sort of a book, and also working out, as well as what I'm going to do for work each day. So basically, what you want to do is you want to have something that you're going to do every single day. And you don't want to stop doing that one thing. You want to have that one specific item. And I would highly recommend that it is reading 5 pages or 10 pages of a book every single day. If you know that's what you're going to do, then go ahead and do that. Now, for other people out there who are more active, I would highly, highly, highly recommend going to the gym and getting in the gym and just doing a workout every single day. Find yourself a workout program. Literally just go on Google and search for a workout routine and follow that routine for the next 30 days and just do that routine every single day. Now, this is what's going to start happening. You're going to get into that routine, and everything from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep is going to be centered around that one thing that you're going to be doing every single day. So you're not going to be lost. You're not going to have a bunch of people who are going to ask you to go do things. You're not going to have, you might still have people who ask you to go do things, but you're not going to, you're not going to continue to stay around people the entire day when you know you have to get back to the thing that you promised to yourself. So I'll give you an example. The guitar. For me, I play the guitar 10 minutes every single day. And it doesn't matter if I'm over at a friend's house. It doesn't matter if I am working. It doesn't matter if I'm out and about. I know I always have to come back and I have to play the guitar. Or I have to start my day by playing the guitar. But either way, I know every single day I'm going to be playing the guitar for 10 minutes. Now, what that's done is that has done two things for me. It has created a routine, it's created a rhythm for my day because I can now plan my day around playing the guitar. The second thing is that it has made me more accountable to myself. And I know that I can trust myself when I tell myself I'm going to play the guitar for 10 minutes today, tomorrow, and for the rest of my life, because everything that I'm doing is built around playing the guitar each day. So I'll give you another example of how important this is. I went to San Diego last week, and I literally took my guitar on the plane, put it in, checked it as a bag, went to San Diego and played the guitar every single day that I was out in San Diego. I didn't let my trip in San Diego dictate what I was going to do in my life. I let my routine and my habits dictate what I was going to do when I got out to San Diego. So the beauty about that is that I got to decide what I was going to be doing before I even showed up to San Diego. And when you do something like that, it creates a confidence inside of you that really you can't get from other people. You can't ask other people, for that confidence. You have to literally cultivate that inside of you, and it comes from God. It comes from inside of you. Whenever you believe that you're going to do something, and you actually go out there and do it. So I just really wanted to come here and say there are plenty of benefits to actually doing something every single day, on top of the actual fact that you're getting better at the thing that you're doing every single day with this routine. So one other thing I wanted to say, now that we've talked about doing one specific thing every single day in your routine, is that when you do have a daily routine, you start to actually add additional things to that one small thing that you've been doing every single day. So, for example, you do 10 minutes of the guitar, for example, or some sort of instrument. Then after that, you say, okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to read 10 pages of a book every single day, or 5 pages of a book, whatever it is. So now you start adding to the routine you've already built. So now you have 2 things inside of your routine. So now your day, from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep, is built around these 2 things that you've promised to yourself. And when you keep that promise, you are now gaining additional wins, and you're gaining those additional confidence points that whatever you say you're going to do, you're actually doing that thing. So now you have 2 things. Now, once you get into the habit loop of accomplishing those 2 things every single day and getting into that routine, you add another thing on top of it. Because the thing about the human mind is that when you start doing things on a routine on every single day and they become habit, it becomes too easy. You start to actually, in a sense, you start to kind of get bored with what you've been doing every single day. That's just how the human mind works. The things that you've been doing every single day just get boring and they get monotonous, but they're a habit now. So you're just doing them on autopilot. So you have to add another thing on top of that. So then you start maybe going and saying, okay, I'm going to work out every single day, or I'm going to go on a walk for 15 or 20 minutes every single day. So then you add that third thing to your routine. And then all of a sudden, now you have 3, 4, 5, maybe 10, 15 things that you do every single day. And then you get to the point where your entire day, from the beginning of your day, from when you wake up to the moment you go to sleep, is built around these habits that you've built out. And now you get to pretty much determine what your day is going to look like. And other people can't just call you up and say, hey, Kaylin, I just wanted to talk for 20 minutes just to waste your time, which is basically what people are doing whenever they call you out of the blue randomly, and you're on your routine. But basically, this is a great question. How should I study for my Salesforce admin exam? This is a great question because I was just about to get into that as part of my daily routine. Every single day when I'm studying for a certification, I study for 45 minutes every single day. Now, there's days where I study for two 45-minute sessions a day. This is just a hack that I learned. I don't remember what I read a long time ago when I was in college, but basically, the human brain can only focus for 45 minutes to 55 minutes at a time. So, what I do is I set a timer for 45 minutes. I block everything out and I study for 45 minutes every single day, usually at the beginning of the day, just to get it over with, because I don't want to have to look and think about it later on in the day. So I'll wake up early in the morning, especially if I'm in super focus mode. I might even wake up at 5 a.m. You definitely don't have to do that. But maybe like 7 a.m. I'll do that and just get it done for the day. And then I just go to work and I don't have to do anything else when it comes to studying. But 45 minutes every single day, you literally can pass pretty much any certification probably in a month or a month and a half if you're focused. But I turn my cell phone off. I basically I shut everything else off. I don't look at anything else in that 45 minutes. I don't take phone calls or anything like that. And my focus is set on that. So this is why I say the daily routine is extremely important, because when you start to set that routine, you'll start to see these results that pop up. And then you're like, wait, I've got 3 Salesforce certifications, or I just got this developer cert, or I just learned how to code. And it didn't even feel like you were working that hard because you just did 45 minutes every single day. Now, the biggest thing I would say is focus on exactly what you need to focus on within that 45 minutes. So make us a little bit of a plan at the beginning and say, okay, I'm going to focus on this subject, the thing I don't know the most. And then as you start studying, maybe a week or 2 passes, and you'll start to realize what you really don't know and what you do know. And then you can start to hone in on exactly what you need to be studying for. But that's pretty much my technique. It's not some sort of, grandiose, like amazing study technique that, some Harvard psychologist would say that this is win some Nobel Peace Prize, but it works. It works. And I actually when I was back in college in 2012 through 2017, ended up getting a 4.0 whenever I applied that method. So I was taking calculus. This is what I was taking in my first semester of when I started applying this technique. I was taking calculus. I think it was advanced microeconomics. I was taking statistics, Spanish 2, and I forget what the last one was, but it was basically a bunch of econ classes, math classes, and language classes. And I said to myself, there is no way I'm going to pass the semester if I don't learn some new technique about studying. So what I did was I said my hardest subject, which was calculus 2 at the time, I said I am going to study for 2 45-minute sessions. And when I'm done with that, I'm not going to study anymore. And so I studied for 45 minutes and I took a 15-minute break. And then I studied for 45 minutes and I was done. And then I would probably take like a 30-minute break, and then I would go and I would study Spanish for 45 minutes. That was a little bit easier. And when I did 45 minutes, I was like, all right, I'm good. And then I just did that for every class if I needed to within a given day. So, and I really didn't have to do that for every single class, but I would do that throughout the week. And I would even apply it on the weekends. Now, remember, you don't take weekends off because that's really the days that you start getting ahead. So apply this technique every single day, and you'll start to see that your routine is really what's going to make you successful. There's really nothing else. There's no magic formula, no secret. But Chrissy M., any advice on study material? I would definitely say the only thing I ever study for a Salesforce certification is the study guide. So the exam outline. So go to trailhead.salesforce.com and go to the credentials tab at the top of Trailhead, and then click on certifications. I'm literally just in my mind's eye, just remembering where this is at. go to certifications, and then go to the exam that you're looking for. So if you're looking for admin, there's a person that says Salesforce admin, and then go down and look at the admin certification, click that, and then click on where it says, I think, study guide or exam guide or something like that. Click that, look at the exam outline, and just look over that exam outline. I don't study anything else because basically you're studying stuff that isn't going to be on the exam if you're studying anything else outside of that. So everything I study is going to be straight up from the exam, and all of my routines and all of my habits are built around studying for that material. So what I'll do is I will look at the exam outline. I will get a collection of links that will be related to the questions that I'm going to be basically tested on. So, on the exam outline for any Salesforce certification, you have the outline section. So I think for the admin exam, there's like 5 or 6 sections. If you click into those sections, you'll have those little bullet points underneath each section. Now, underneath those bullet points, I'll just have links underneath that bullet point that I'll create on a Google Doc, and then I'll just save those links so that anytime I'm studying for that specific topic, I can just click that link and I can go back and look at that. Now, I'll have something like 3 to 5 links per bullet point, so that when I'm studying for that, I have different sources, whether it's help documentation from Salesforce, Trailhead material, a YouTube video, or some sort of article that I can find. And that's all I study. I just study that. And then if I find anything within those articles or within those links, then I'll just click those and I will read additional material that's related to what I'm already studying for. But that's what I spend my 45 minutes studying every single time I study for an exam. And it hasn't failed me yet, especially after I take mock exams or practice exams, after I study that and know that I'm actually on the right track. But that's pretty much what I do. I would definitely say create your routine around a 45-minute schedule, something that you do for 45 minutes every single day. That's what I basically am going to talk about when I start talking about when I did 75 hard. When I did 75 hard, it was basically you do 2 45-minute workouts every single day. And one of them has to be outside. But if you don't want to do 75 hard and you want to study for a certification, just replace those 2 45-minute workouts that I'm talking about with 2 45-minute study sessions. And I'm telling you, you won't regret it. So happy to help you there, Chrissy M. Thanks for asking. But for anybody who is looking for a daily routine, just think of something you can do every single day. Something that's going to be so easy to win that you literally feel like I want to do more. This is why I say I do 10 minutes every single day of the guitar. Somebody did ask for a song on the guitar. I'll probably come to you and play that when I put the phone on the tripod. But yeah, I'll play for you at some point. Definitely no John Mayer, especially with just 10 minutes of practice every single day, but have gotten a lot better. I'm able to play so many different songs now. But that's the biggest thing about the routine is like you've got to have something that is so easy for you to do that it becomes a habit and you're actually like itching to do more and you're kind of bored because it's so easy for you to accomplish. That's whenever it has become a habit, whenever you're like, I have to do more. So that's pretty much what I have to say. Go back to this video if you're ever wondering what I've talked about here. But what are best practices for Automation Studio? I would like maybe just a little bit more clarification on what you want to know about in terms of best practice. But I would definitely say for Automation Studio, just remember that's inside of Marketing Cloud for those of you who don't know what Automation Studio is. But best practice for me in Automation Studio is to think of Automation Studio in terms of this is specifically for my data. This is for the data inside of Marketing Cloud. I want to automate my data activities. So whether that's file imports, file transfer activities, SQL query activities, data filter activities, script activities, group refreshes. Just think about it as I'm going to automate my data activities inside of Marketing Cloud. I would like just put a little bit more clarification on that question when it comes to best practices for Automation Studio, what you're exactly looking for. Maybe I can help you a little bit more specifically. But just remember, Automation Studio is specifically for your data. Now, you can send an email from Automation Studio, but I would leave that up to Journey Builder most of the time. But basically, yeah, you just have to think about Automation Studio as your data place. Chrissy M, you said, I'm trying to break into tech, but it's so hard. So tell me, what's hard about what you're going through right now? Like, tell me, kind of like, give me a little bit of an explanation of what's seeming pretty hard, because I do know that for people who don't have a background in tech, it can be hard just learning the jargon, learning the terms, and just getting your whole mind wrapped around these tech terms and how the whole tech world works. So maybe that's what you're talking about when you're saying it's hard to learn. But definitely tell me what is hard, and I can help you to kind of navigate around that, and help you to kind of think about which direction you should go to kind of overcome those challenges there. I'll give you an example. So my mom, she was working as a store manager at like places like Dick's Sporting Goods, Kohl's, retail stores like Rue 21 in the mall and things like that. And I was like, all right, Mom, no more Black Fridays, no more working on the holidays where you're stressed out, your heart rate's at an all-time high, and you can't see your kids on the holidays. So I said, you got to get into this tech world. I'm going to teach everything I know to you. And for her, in her 40s, she was definitely struggling because she had never done tech in her entire life. So Chrissy M, I definitely feel your pain. I know exactly what you're talking about. I've experienced it with family members, including my mom, and friends as well. The biggest thing is that you just have to look at the tech world as just another conversation. I know right now you're kind of like, well, that doesn't really help me that much, but really you got to think about it like this. Every single industry has its own lingo. It has its own jargon. It has its own terms, right? So let's just say, for example, I was watching the NBA. In the NBA, every single rule is different than the rules in the NFL or anything else, right? So what you want to understand is you want to understand the rules to the game. Now, if you're going to go all in on Salesforce, just understand how Salesforce works. First thing I would say to learn is go in and learn about all the different clouds. So you might have already seen the Customer 360 illustration, like that little visual of the Customer 360. So you have like Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, Marketing Cloud, Commerce Cloud. What else? You have CPQ, you have Einstein. Learn about how all of those work. Learn how all those, just at a high level glance. Like, you don't have to go in depth on how every single cloud in the Salesforce ecosystem works, but understand what Sales Cloud does. Why does that exist? Why does Service Cloud exist? I'll give you, basically right now, as a matter of fact, I'll give you the 10-second overview of why these main clouds exist. Sales Cloud exists to help sales reps at companies sell better, right? So there's a pipeline that when someone goes through a sales process, a lead converts to an opportunity, becomes an account, becomes a contact, and they basically sell a product, right? So the sales process never really changes when it comes to companies. They just might follow different steps in the process. But Sales Cloud is made for sales reps. Service Cloud is made for customer service departments. So think about when you call to like AT&T or, T-Mobile or whatever it is, customer service. You have a customer service rep who's probably more than likely using Service Cloud to handle your case, to get that case solved. Then you have Marketing Cloud, which is used to market products to customers. So think about the last email you got from a major company. Let's just say, I'll just use AT&T again because I know AT&T uses Salesforce. So let's just say you received an email or you received some sort of text message. They're probably using Marketing Cloud to message you on about those products that they have to offer. Then you have something like Commerce Cloud. If you've ever been on Amazon, you're using e-commerce, right? So you're going in and you're purchasing something on a website, or you go to Nike.com and you buy some shoes. You're using some sort of e-commerce website. So e-commerce or Commerce Cloud is that. Now, the thing is, you don't have to learn every single one of those. You just have to pick which one you want to actually get good at. So I started out in Sales Cloud, and then I actually got my first job in where we were doing Service Cloud, and those two are pretty closely related. They use a lot of the same objects, like account object, case object, opportunities, leads, right? And then I got my start in Marketing Cloud. And then I was like, okay, I actually want to do Marketing Cloud. And it wasn't because I was super, super interested in Marketing Cloud. It was actually because my manager said, Kalen, you're going to have a ton of opportunities in Marketing Cloud if you learn this. And I think you should learn it. And so we didn't have anybody at the company who actually knew Marketing Cloud because the guy actually left that was doing it before me. And I was like, oh, heck yeah, I'm about to do this. And then they sent me to LA to go and learn Marketing Cloud. And then they sent me to Chicago to go to Salesforce Connections. And in my head, I was 23, 24 years old or something like that. I was like, they're sending me to all these cool cities. I'm about to stick with Marketing Cloud. So I stuck with Marketing Cloud, and it's actually funny because that's where I'm at right now, and the opportunities that I've seen and I've had and I've been exposed to are absolutely limitless at this point because I actually listen to my manager. But your motive may be completely different on the cloud that you choose. So the first thing I would say to Chrissy M is definitely just choose a cloud. Go and do your research on the cloud that you want to learn. Learn a little bit maybe about each one that kind of interests you. Don't try to become an expert at all of them at once. Just go in and get your feet wet on each one. And then once you find something that actually sticks with you, maybe makes a little bit more sense, go with that one and then just run with it. And don't look back until you master it and you've gotten your cert in that. And then literally everything else everybody says, just push it to the side. Just say, I don't really care what you guys are talking about. I'm just going to learn this, and this is all I'm going to be focused on. If you do that for like a month or two, you'll understand exactly what that cloud does. You'll understand how to use that cloud, and you'll get your feet wet, and you'll actually know what people are talking about. I've been doing Salesforce since 2017, May 2017. And I'm just now, it's 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 5 years. And I'm just now getting to the point where I can look at stuff in like help documentation or Trailhead, and it just clicks. That's 5 years later. That's almost half a decade. So definitely don't beat yourself up on the fact that you're not getting it, especially if you just started, and especially if you just transitioned over into the ecosystem from something that wasn't tech. See, I was doing, my background was in, actually for a long time, I was an athlete. I was a student athlete at the University of Oklahoma. And I actually told myself I would never do tech. And then I started realizing, wait, like tech is the future. And then I jumped in and I got my master's in data science. So I got my undergrad in economics and my master's in data science. Data science was way over my head. Like these people in my classes were so smart. A dude would fall asleep in class and the teacher would call on him and he would answer the question. And I would be paying attention and writing notes. And I was like, I still couldn't even answer the question. So to say that I'm some tech genius is definitely not true. I just jumped into the data science world because I heard that it would make a bunch of money when I was in college. And then I was like, wait, nah, hold up. These people are so smart. I finished the program. I did it. I understand data science, but it took everything I had to actually learn it. And I did learn a lot. But I'm basically saying that, you don't have to. I had that background, and you know, when I came into Salesforce, I still kind of like struggled with it. So and it was only not because it was hard, it was because it was new. It was something brand new. But then the number one thing I would say to just definitely understand is that you have to just pick a subject and run with it and then get good at that subject. I've been getting really good at Marketing Cloud. And then I actually got certified to be an instructor as a Salesforce admin instructor. So I had to go back and learn Salesforce admin after I became a Marketing Cloud instructor. And when I went back to learn Sales Cloud and learned how to be a Salesforce admin instructor, I had to go back through everything I knew from the past, and everything I knew had already left my head. So I had to go back and relearn everything. But it was that 45-minute daily structured plan that I put together, and I relearned everything within like a week or two. But that's a whole different story, because I did that and I studied for like 8 hours a day on the weekend, and then I studied for like 6 hours a day on the weekdays. So a week, definitely don't take what I did as, something that you have to do and you have to learn in like a week. If you want to break that out and learn it over the next month or two or even 3 months, it's definitely possible, but just don't beat yourself up trying to learn this and cram it all in your head, because it's just going to take time. Just like playing the guitar, you're only going to learn at such a certain pace, and you just have to give yourself time to build that memory up. So hopefully that helped. Now I am going to look at some of the comments here. Best practices in Automation Studio that have to be followed when implementing Salesforce Marketing Cloud from scratch. So the number one thing if you're implementing Marketing Cloud from scratch is gathering business requirements. You have to understand exactly what the client wants, or what your company wants, what your manager wants, because a lot of these people that are giving you requirements are going to be super vague, and they're just going to say, oh, this is what I want. And you're going to say, well, I need more details about that. And they're not even going to know the details. So you're going to have to pry those details from them. So here's one thing I learned as a consultant in Marketing Cloud. You've got to have a squad. Now, if it's just you who's taking those requirements and you're brand new, you're a newbie, you're a beginner, you might not know the questions to ask. So the biggest thing I would say for you to do is have a who, what, when, where, why, and how script for every single thing that somebody tells you they want you to build out. So if somebody says they want you to build out customer segments and they want you to use SQL query, let me just give you an example here. So in Marketing Cloud, let's say they say, I want you to create 2 segments of customers that we're going to send email messages to. The first thing I would say if I'm a brand new beginner is I would say, who do you want in those segments? And then maybe say, because I said who, what, when, where, why, how, I would say, who do you want in those customer segments? What filters do you want in those segments? Like, what sort of filters do you want me to put in there? That'll kind of be answered when you have the who. And then who, what, when. Maybe that could be like, when do you want me to make these? When do you want those customers to receive those emails? Multiple different questions you just have to come up with. And I'm going to talk about some other stuff after I'm finished with this script. Who, what, when, where. Where do you want this data extension to live? Where do you want these customers to be at whenever we do actually make them? Where do we want to grab these customers from? Where do these customers exist right now? Are they coming from Sales Cloud? Are they coming from an FTP? Are they coming from some sort of external database? Are they coming from an API? Where are they coming from? Who, what, when, where, why? I would say, why do we want these customers? What are we actually trying to get across? What sort of message are we trying to get across? Why do we want them? That's going to give you more context behind what the actual initiative is, and then how. You might ask them, how many customers do you want? How many times do you want me to, segment per day or whatever it is? So what you want to do is you want to come up with your own script on the types of questions you might want to ask. Just start jotting down some things. Like right now, I could go to a piece of paper and I could just make up questions. Literally, I tell people this all the time. Think about if you've ever seen a little kid ask an adult questions, like a little 2-year-old ask questions to an adult, and they keep on asking why, right? They keep on asking until they actually get to the core answer. That's what you want to be like. You want to be a little kid in your business requirements gathering sessions. You don't want to leave a meeting and have to go do a project without getting to the root answer and understanding exactly what you need to build out. So the first thing is, that's my first thing, is gathering business requirements. It's an art. It's a science and it's an art at the same time. Now, you can turn that art into a process once you've done it a couple of times, because you can ask kind of the same questions, because pretty much every single marketing cloud project or sales cloud project or service cloud project or whatever it is follows the same structure every single time, because you're pretty much just, let's say in marketing cloud, you're setting up data. So you're putting your data in the right places with data extensions. You're segmenting your data. That's step number 2. You're going to segment your data and put them into buckets. You're going to automate that data, right? So you're going to put that data into Automation Studio, whether that's importing your data from some sort of FTP, whatever it is, you're going to be automating that data. And then you're going to be creating content. That's the 4th step. Then you're going to be testing that content. Then you're going to be automating that content in Journey Builder. And then you're going to be running reports. It's pretty much 7 steps. Every Sales Cloud implementation pretty much follows 6 steps. You're going to be setting up your data. So you're going to be pretty much setting up your org, right? You're going to be setting up your org and your objects, your fields, and things like that. Then you're going to be importing your data. You're going to be automating everything, and then you're going to be running reports and dashboards. So every project pretty much follows the same structure, kind of like a software development lifecycle. If you've ever seen the software development lifecycle, SDLC, it's pretty much the same thing every single time. Gather business requirements. I forget what the next step is, but it's like gather business requirements, develop, test, and some sort of testing environment like a UAT, user acceptance testing environment, and then kind of repeat that process. It's like 5 or 6 steps in the SDLC. Just Google SDLC, software development lifecycle, and you'll pretty much find an image if you just click on images in Google. But every tech, design right there. So if you just, you can put in what the 5 steps are to SDLC. But basically, if you understand that there's a process that every single software development lifecycle follows and every single Salesforce project follows, you'll just see that process and you'll literally just rinse and repeat that process for every single project. And once you start learning how to do that, you literally just, next time you have a client or a customer or a company that has a new project for you to do, you take your questions because you know you're at this part of the project, you're at the first step of the project, gather business requirements. These are the questions you ask every single time. Now, it doesn't matter if you're in the oil and gas industry, it doesn't matter if you're in retail, it doesn't matter if you're in tech, it doesn't matter if you're in education, it doesn't matter what industry you're in. A project is a project, and an implementation is an implementation. There's just a different use cases and different things that you're going to build out, different data you're going to use, but it's still going to follow those 7 steps, 5, 6, or 7 steps. So that's why I say once you come up with a list of the questions you need to ask, you're pretty much just going to rinse and repeat that for every single project that you do. So first step to answer the question of best practice, let me look here, is Let's see, best practice in Automation Studio that have to be followed when implementing from scratch. First step, definitely look at the business requirements. Gather everything you possibly can so you know exactly what it's going to be like. I was telling a friend the other day who was he does like contract work on houses and stuff, and he comes out and he like fixes people's backyards. I said, so tell me the process for fixing somebody's backyard. If you're going to come out and you're going to put new turf, or you're going to do some sort of landscaping on somebody's backyard, what do you actually do? And this guy broke it down for me. He said, we do this. We come out and we survey the area. We get all the measurements. We see how big the yard is. Then we ask about what sort of material, like wood, do you want? What sort of grass do you want? What sort of rocks do you want? All these questions, right? Now, break that out real quick. What is that? That's business requirements gathering. That's just not in tech. That's just them going to somebody's house and saying, okay, what is it? How big is your yard? They're getting the measurements, right? They're gathering the requirements because they know they can't do the project until they get the exact measurements right. So then after they get the measurements, then they say, okay, what sort of tools do we need? And then they ask their client, okay, so what sort of wood would you want? Do you want mahogany? Do you want acacia wood? Do you want oak wood? Whatever it is, right? So they're gathering all these things, and then the client is telling them, their customer is telling them, we want this, 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 and this. And then they're writing all this stuff down. They might have a clipboard or something like that, or they might be putting it into their iPad or whatever it is, and it's going directly to the system. So they've got the measurements, they've got the material they're going to need, and they've gathered all the business requirements. Now then they go back, and they might go back to their office, and they talk with their the workers and whoever's at the company, and they say, okay, guys, we need this. We need to build that out. And this is the material that we have. This is the budget the client has. This is what they've signed off on. And this is what we're going to propose to them that we can actually do with what they've given us. Literally, if you can understand that on how that works for landscaping and doing somebody's backyard, or building a swimming pool or whatever it is for somebody in their backyard or their front yard, then you can do the exact same thing in Salesforce, because all you're doing is the exact same thing, but with tech. And that's what I told the guy. And he was like, dude, that makes so much sense. And I was like, yeah, man, it's literally the exact same stuff. You're just working in a different industry. And so that's pretty much all it is. So that's why I say when you start doing it, maybe, come up with your own list of questions. So if you were a contractor, what questions would you ask if you were building somebody's pool or something like that? You'd need measurements. You could Google all this stuff, to be honest. I can't really, off the top of my head, say every single thing that I would say in a requirements gathering session, because that would be a ton of questions and I just don't remember everything right now. But come up with a list of everything, and just start coming up with your own list. And then when you start coming up with your own list, you only have to write it once, and then it's there forever. So that's my advice. But I'm glad I could help you out, Chrissy M. Glad that I'm awesome for this. Phone died, and I'm back here. So basically just want to make sure that, everybody is pretty much set, because I know this tech world can be kind of frustrating. It can be kind of like, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. But if you start to think about it in everyday terms and things that you already know how to do, kind of like that example of the contractor who's just coming in as a landscaper, then you're pretty much going to be set. So hopefully that helps. But I'm pretty much done. If nobody else has any more questions here, hopefully that is helpful. Glad I could help you. Hey, thank you, first of all, for everybody who did jump on this live. And also thank you to everybody who was commenting as well, because, we just gotta help each other out, and that's what I'm here for. So if you got any other questions, definitely feel free to ask in the comment section below for sure. I'll be there to answer those. And we'll go ahead and upskill ourselves in the Salesforce ecosystem. But as you know, as you probably have already seen on previous live streams, this channel is also meant for personal development as well as your professional development. So I want to make sure you're upskilled in Salesforce and in the tech world, as well as your mental, your personal growth is on point too. Because if you don't have the personal growth, then you're going to definitely fall behind on the professional growth. But that's what it's all about. We all have to learn. And Jay, let's see. So Jay, just hit me up on LinkedIn and we can set up a meeting, but hit me up on LinkedIn. Kaelan Moss, KaelanMoss. Kaelan Moss. Hit me up on LinkedIn and we'll communicate from there. So yeah, just let me know if you have any other questions for anybody else who's wondering, but get that daily routine right. I'm telling you, you will get to the point where you start seeing results that are beyond anybody at work, beyond anybody that you know, just by being consistent and having a daily routine. It's not magic, everybody. It's just consistency. It's just putting in that work and being persistent with it. And that's pretty much it. That's all it really boils down to. So with that being said, Kaelan Moss, your boy, aka the Minute Admin, out.